All right, guys, we are live and ready to go for another Splitgate Dev Q&A. And we always, when we do these things, have the one, the only creator of Splitgate and co-founder of 1047 Games, Ian Prue. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me, Mr. Kevin, Mr. Endo.
We also have Akuvo, Derek, aka Akuvo, with us. So,
Oh, how's it going?
alrighty. So let's just dive right into it, Ian. So there's probably one question on a lot of people's mind. We will want to address first and foremost. Beta season one coming on January 27th. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I'm super pumped. I mean, I think beta season one for us is really about three things, I would say. I'd say like kind of point number one is this is step one of becoming a AAA game and becoming a AAA studio. So, we've redesigned Foregone Destruction to kind of see our full vision and really just push it to the limit. We've done a ton of hiring over the last 6 months, and really last 3 months especially in the art team. We've hired, people from Destiny and Halo and Valorant and all sorts of really just awesome AAA artists. And so really with beta season one, it was let's see how far we can push the graphics on one map. And obviously this is step one of much more to come and just kind of a small taste of what else we've got going. But really wanted to push foregone destruction to the limit and also, take the opportunity to make gameplay improvements. The other big feature for beta season one that I think people are going to be super excited about is our map creator. So, we've been working on this for a while now in secret, and it's it's really come a long way, and it's awesome. I mean, I think for us, like we wanted to get our map creator out and in the hands of our community as quickly as possible. We really are like we live by the motto of community first. We wanted to get it in the hands of you guys as quickly as possible so that we could start getting feedback and iterate and improve. But for now, we felt like version one is plenty powerful. You can build your own maps. You can play it with other people, play it with bots, whatever you want to do. There's a lot you can do, and you can build maps with friends, which I think is also pretty awesome. And then the last thing for beta season one is, well, the last big thing I guess I'd say is we've got a couple new game modes. The two big game modes we're adding are One Flag CTF and Evolution. So One Flag CTF, pretty standard, but I think a lot of people who have been in the community for a while have played CTF and they know we've gone through a lot of iterations of it and we've just never really been able to get it right. Testing with portals, without portals, with red walls that you can't portal, different spawn times, all sorts of different things. But we finally feel like now we've got actually a really strong variant of CTF that plays really well for Splitgate, where it's attack and defend, and round based. And then evolution. So evolution was actually an idea that our new head of backend engineering, Pete, came up with a couple months ago. And it was funny because he's not, he's a backend engineer. He's not a game engineer, but he's still a gamer. He's creative. He's got a lot of good ideas. And he came up with this idea when we were brainstorming of a variant of Showdown because we really like Showdown. We've had a lot of positive response to Showdown, and basically, the way that evolution works is you have a different loadout each round, just like Showdown, where no respawns, 3v3 on the simulation maps. But with evolution, you start with the worst guns, the worst loadout possible. Every time you win, the losing team advances to the next loadout, and it gets increasingly better. And so you end up with this really interesting balance of like we might be dominating you with our pistol, right? But eventually you get a shotgun. And now we have to go pistol against shotgun. If you then win the round, now we get upgraded. We've got an AR and a carbine. So now it's a little bit more even. And it's kind of this back and forth that leads to just a lot of really exciting encounters and just super intense, especially with the no respawns. What else? We've added another simulation map, Simulation Hotel. I think it's our best sim map yet, to be totally honest. Plays really well for both Showdown, Evolution, and Takedown. What else can I talk about? There's a lot. I mean, we've got a new battle pass, of course, 100 levels of a mix of free and premium content, new challenges, tons of new skins and characters. What else? What am I missing? There's a lot of good stuff, is what I'll say. But yeah. Oh, I guess I could talk about playlists a little bit, if we want to talk about that. What do you guys think?
Maybe what we could do is, answer some of these questions and let the community decide what details they want to hear.
Okay.
Because there's
I'm not looking at the chat, so I'm
I
relying on
am.
you to tell me. Yeah.
Yes. So got some interest. We actually have one that kind of leads into what you were
First
talking
question.
about.
I was gonna say first question. Somebody just posted season rewards. Please reveal them. I wonder if that'll happen
Ooh.
at some point later. But anyways, Kevin, you
I think
can.
we will do that.
Yeah. Are there going to
Do
be
that now or later?
Are there going to be gun challenges, skins, diamond and mastery? That's what somebody asked. Should we reveal that now?
You want to show the season rewards or what?
We can talk about. Yeah, there's some people who've been asking about season rewards. They're very curious, and coming up
Yeah,
at
let's
the
show
end.
the season rewards.
Here we
Show
are.
that GIF, that nice GIF you made.
Very simple GIF showing all the skins from brass to champion. Anything you want to say about them, Ian?
Sure. I mean, I think, well, first off, shout out to Stack. I think a lot of people probably know who Stack is, but he is the one who designed these skins and did just an absolutely amazing job on them. I think for us, like, we experimented a lot with the season reward skin. We wanted to have something that kind of was consistent, but got increasingly cooler, if that makes sense, kind of like Rocket League. So what we ended up with was we actually went through a lot of iterations, because at first it was like, random rare skin for, bronze, random other skin for gold, and then anyway, we ended up with a really good formula where there's this basic pattern that for brass it's super super simple, and then bronze, silver, gold it gets a little bit cooler and shinier. Diamond and platinum, you start getting into animated territory where it's really cool, and then for master and champion, it just is like take all of this and make it insanely epic with really intricate, cool designs and animations. So, anyway, yeah, why don't you show it? If you guys have seen the Picasso skin, it's kind of, in that sort of, I don't know, category of skins, I guess.
All right, back to the camera screens. So yeah, a few people asking about, the usual stuff. We'll get through all your questions, guys. We'll focus on beta season 1 type questions first. So we had a question. Let's see here if I can find it again. People asking about the state of bots, aim assists, generic questions like that. Let's talk about bots really quick. That's been a hot topic in social media. What's our plan with that going forward? Like, are we addressing anything?
So we're kind of doing it in 2 phases. So I'll say for beta season 1, you're going to see a lot less bots. They still exist, but you should get drastically fewer. Part of that is we are just kind of prioritizing humans over kind of the range of which players you can play with. We're really trying to prioritize getting you more humans. The other thing we're doing with matchmaking is we've mixed up the playlists. So kind of, I don't know if we want to talk about this now, Derek, you think, or?
Sure, might as well.
It's kind of a tangent of bots, but it ends up having, it ends up leading to a lot fewer bots. So we've redone the way that we do playlists. So instead of having just 15 game modes, because we wanted to add more game modes, plus we've got fan favorites like One in the Chamber and all of these great modes, instead of just compiling a massive increasing playlist, because that's one of the biggest issues with one of the biggest reasons we end up having too many bots is we just have so many different modes that you can select. So we've taken these modes, and instead of getting rid of stuff, we've added stuff like One in the Chamber, and then we've put it into different playlists. So we have certain playlists for popular modes that are just, standalone one mode only, and then we have certain playlists that kind of combine multiple modes together. So for example, TDM, it's its own playlist. You can play it forever. You never have to do anything. But we've combined, instead of having like a Team Fiesta be its own mode, we actually have a Team Fiesta playlist that has Team Fiesta Team Deathmatch, Team Fiesta Team Koth, and Team Fiesta Domination. So you can play different variants of Team Fiesta all in one playlist. And then, of course, with voting, instead of having the random vote option, you now have 3. So every playlist has 1 to 3 modes. So you can always vote for the mode that you want. But we tried to make it consistent. So, for example, Fiesta, Koth, Dom, TDM. Showdown and Evolution are in their own playlist together because they're variants of one another. We've got now as well, we've got a competitive a ranked practice playlist where you've got competitive rule set for casual where you can practice TDM, Koth, and Dom. Yeah, got a lot of good stuff coming. So, but bottom line, we're going to have a fewer buckets, if that makes sense, so that more humans are overlapping in the same playlist.
All right. People have been wondering about a next gen patch. So, as of right now, you can play Splitgate on PS5, Xbox Series, but we have hinted in the past on Twitter and stuff like that. That's something that we want to work on. Any status on that?
So yeah, I mean, status on that. It's not going to be in beta season 1, but if not beta season 1, I'd say soon after. So
People wondering about Twitch drops. Anything to do with that?
yeah, I mean, again, like it's on our radar. I'd say not for beta season 1, but I would imagine beta season 2 or 3. I think there's a good chance you'll be seeing Twitch drops and next gen very soon. So no confirmed date yet, but those are obviously things we want to do that we hear you guys, so we want them to.
And then another question we usually get: bringing the game onto Nintendo Switch or insert platform here, Stadia, Luna, mobile, blah blah blah, all those. What's the status on that?
No updates other than I think, as we've said all along, our goal is to be a game on as many platforms as possible, right? We really want to bring people together. We want PlayStation people to play with Xbox people and PC people. I think I've talked about before, like I want to come to mobile, I want to come to Stadia, I want to come to Switch, I want to come to everything, right? So I think philosophically, like that is how we view it's just a matter of when are we going to do it, not if.
How long will beta season 1 be?
So beta season 1 will be about 3 months, 4 months max. But yeah, we are definitely a big part of this year. Now that we've grown our team, we're actually now up to about 50 people. So we've really grown a lot over the past few months, and we've been there's growing pains. Obviously, you got to onboard people, but for us, we feel like we're now in a position where we can really get on that basically stick to our roadmap and move much faster. We've just got more talent on the team, so we don't want to go a long time between beta season 1 and 2. So,
And do we have any official statement on like future seasons, like a beta season 2 or a 3 or something like that?
I don't have any official statement other than like I said, we're going to be doing new seasons much more regularly going forward. It's not going to be 6 months like between season 0 and beta season 1 was.
And for the people just joining us, briefly explain why are we still calling it beta? Didn't we already release before?
We did not release before. I think there's a little bit of confusion with that, but we specifically called it Season 0 originally because it was not our launch. I will say, kind of, when I look at just our original game plan, right? Our original game plan was we wanted to launch the beta at the beginning of July, and we were planning, as many of you remember, on launching the actual final game on July 27th. Obviously, we had a pretty insane growth during the summer, so we had a lot of server issues that came with that. So we said, okay, we're going to push this back. At that point, we were thinking maybe we'll launch in August, end of August. Once we raised the fundraise, we raised $100 million. We realized, why would we possibly launch this? The scope of what we can do with this kind of funding is just drastically different than what we've been able to do on a tiny budget with a tiny team. And we've got an awesome team. They've done an amazing job. We're very proud of Splitgate in its current state, but the reality is there's just a lot more we can do with this thing before we call it 1.0. And when we do launch, it's going to be massive, and it's going to be drastically same fundamental gameplay, but it's going to be a much more AAA feature complete game. And beta season 1 is kind of step 1 in showing the direction that we're headed.
So some people are wondering about what the heck did we announce on Twitter earlier this week? What was that all about, Ian? What did we announce in that teaser? Apparently we weren't clear enough.
Beta season 1 is launching on the 27th, so next Thursday morning. And I think we teased a little bit, but we showed off Foregone Destruction being overhauled. Which you'll have to see in game, but the little tease with the cryptic stuff does not do it justice. And then on top of that, the other thing we showed off was, kind of showed off. Some of you picked it up, but we've got a map creator. That's the big feature for this new season, is our in-game map creator. You can do it on any platform, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You can do it with your friends. You can build maps with your friends, and then you can go play them with random other people on the internet, or play them with bots. So a lot of good stuff coming.
That kind of leads into another question. Will there be more community-made content in the game? You just talked about the map creator. I think that's the beginning of something big with.
So, the way I look at the map creator, it's version 1.0, and I think this is just kind of how we do things at 1047 Games. Everything ultimately comes down to, what does the community want, right? So for us, instead of trying to build every single feature we could possibly think of, for us, it's as soon as we've got version 1 of a feature that we feel like is great and powerful and fun, we want to give it to you guys as quickly as possible, let you play with it, give us your feedback, because ultimately, whatever you guys like about and don't like about our map creator, that's what's going to determine the direction in which we take it. Maybe we focus on adding more objects or more presets, or maybe we focus on adding scripting, where you can, there's a lot of different ways we can take this thing. But already in its current state, it's a very, very powerful tool that is going to add a lot of replayability and just a lot of fun. So.
All right. Will any of the community-made maps be made into become official into the game? Any chance of that happening?
You never know, right? I don't think I would. I'm not ready to commit to it, but it's something we've definitely talked about, right? If we see an awesome map and everybody loves it, why wouldn't we, right? So I think that's kind of our mindset going into it.
I think something cool we could do outside of making one of these maps like an official map is just like having featured playlists with cool map creator maps. So
that would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we could even do a contest or something. I think there's a lot of different things we could do with it, but if we start to see awesome maps, we want other people to see it too, right? If you guys make awesome maps, we want to show it off, whether it's a map we turn into an official map, or we put it in a featured playlist, or whatever it is. I think there's a lot we can do. So
yeah, they could make a playlist for just community maps. A lot of potential for sure. So here's a question. The map creator, obviously a lot of comparisons going to be made to Forge mode, but like Halo's been putting out. So yeah, it's not a one-to-one feature, right? That we're making. We're not trying to copy Forge mode, for example. There are differences.
Yeah, obviously those comparisons are going to be made, but I guess the way I look at it is map creators have been a part of many different games. Halo is one game that has done it extremely well, but yeah, we're making what we think works well for Splitgate, and there's going to be a lot of similarities, but there's also going to be some differences. So
Pivoting a little bit, what type of like crossplay or not crossplay, cross save features could we expect in the future? People are wanting to merge their accounts between their console and their PC, for example.
yeah, so that's something that's kind of in a strange way tied to Twitch drops, but it all kind of boils down to if we can have a feature outside of the game where you can connect your accounts, whether it's your Twitch account with your Steam account or your Xbox account or your PlayStation. It's all the same sort of functionality. So no exact date on when that's going to happen, but when it does, it will most likely be an update that comes with Twitch drops and cross progression at the same time. Not guaranteed, but those are very, very similar features that we'd like to kind of ship at the same time when we do it.
Will the map creator let me save the map for others to download and play?
So I believe so yes is the short answer. I don't know. We don't have like a dedicated file sharing system currently, but what you can do is if I'm making a map with you, we can both save it, and we've now got it locally. Similarly, if I decide, okay, I made this map, I want to show it off to the world, I can go host a custom game, and anybody can join. Anyone who joins my custom game can now also download that map, and now they've got it forever on their machine. So there's not a dedicated, file browser. Let me see what else is out there, but there is a way. If I go to custom game and start playing a map and I like it, I just download it, and now I can play it whenever I want.
Getting
But
a
those are the kind of, sorry, just to add to that, those are the kind of questions and feedback we want to get as we go. Is this something, should we focus on a dedicated file sharing system, or should we focus on scripting where you can do more than just make maps, or should we focus on just more content and more ways to build a map, right? So
one in the chamber 24/7 possibly.
yes, actually. So yeah, kind of tying back to the playlist stuff, we really wanted to add one in the chamber and other playlists or other game modes back. So we now have a dedicated playlist, FFA Brawl, I think we're calling it, where you get one in the chamber, Instagib, and gun game in the same playlist, and it's available 24/7. So
Can we expect more region support? We get this question every time. U.S. Central, or insert continent here.
Maybe not for this season, but like I said, or I guess I haven't said this yet, but we are in the process of switching our entire backend to a new system. We obviously don't want to have to worry about server issues ever again. Not that our servers are having issues these days, but we know that we're going to get back to that scale when we're ready, and we want to make sure that when we do and get well beyond the scale of the beta, we want to make sure we're ready for anything. So anyway, long story short, we're switching our backend. Once we switch that to the new system, it is definitely a possibility. It's not something I can guarantee, but it will allow us to potentially have more flexibility on server locations.
Are we planning to do some sort of non-expiring battle pass like Halo Infinite does?
Not currently. It's not. I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. It's not something that I would say definitely no to. It's not something that is high priority for us. I guess we've got other priorities, but keep the feedback coming, right? If this is something we start hearing regularly, like we listen to these kind of things, if everybody wants that, we're definitely open to it, and it might jump to the top of the priority list if it becomes that much of a request.
I've seen this question quite a bit on social media, actually. PlayStation has gyro controls for aiming. Like the controller can be moved around physically to help do the micro adjustments to your aim. Anything like that, like any kind of like specific platform-specific features like that, people can expect?
Nothing planned currently. Is there I guess I would want to see an example of a game that does that well, because my initial reaction to hearing that is that sounds terrible, but But I don't know. I mean, a first-person shooter like ours, aiming like that could be interesting. I would want to play some game that does it well, see how it feels, and then maybe we do it.
Cool. Couple comments about Linux. Some people are commenting that they feel like Linux is kind of getting ignored for certain things, like the VC is not working. Are we working on Linux, getting that stable?
When you say VCs, you mean voice chat?
Voice chat, yeah.
So for voice chat, we're actually we have not done this yet, but we are most likely switching our entire voice chat system. I want to say it works better on Linux, but I don't want to commit to that because I need to double check on that. But I believe that was one of the reasons that we were considering switching.
Less of a question, more of a comment. Someone's asking, is this game still in beta? This feels more polished than AAA titles lately.
Well, I appreciate that, but yes, it's definitely still in beta. I think I think there's a lot more we can do. But I mean, we're competing against ourselves here, is how we look at it. And to us, this is a beta, and it's a very good beta. But I think there's a lot more we can do with it to get it even more polished. And from graphics to UI, features, there's all sorts of things we can do.
Are there going to be more challenges, or just more like things to do, achieve in the game?
So yeah, I think we have all new challenges for this season. I mean, there's some probably overlapping for like dailies and stuff, but we're all sorts of new challenges. In terms of more stuff, I think one of the things we're sort of internally discussing is having an overhauled progression system. We haven't implemented it yet or started implementing it yet, but I do think we want to make it more of a just rewarding grind, I guess. So there's definitely more we're thinking about.
And just so chat knows, we're not ignoring any particular questions. It's just some questions that we want to focus on more than others. But let's challenge Ian a little bit. So people are wondering what are our plans to grow the game and expand?
Yeah. So I mean, I think for us, like before we launch this thing, right now we're not concerned with blowing this game up right now, I guess is what I'd say. We want to see some growth, and we definitely, we're going to start marketing a little bit more. But for us, we got to have the team in place before we really go out big and blow this thing up. We're still in beta. We're still in the learning phase and experimenting phase. So a lot of what this is about is, experimenting with features, improving the product, just making progress and seeing growth. But really for us, like when we launch 1.0, that's when we want to go big. Prior to that, it's about learning and growing, but not necessarily exploding yet.
Will there ever be like a separation between the console queues and the PC queues? I guess they're pretty much asking, is there going to be no more forced crossplay on ranked?
We'll see. I mean, we don't force that for quick play or for custom games. You can turn that off. I think for ranked, what we didn't want to have happen, for one, there's just fewer people playing ranked in general, so we wanted to make sure that everyone was getting games fast. I think the other thing is, when we don't have crossplay with ranked, you kind of end up with really arbitrary rankings where you could climb to the leaderboard and be the best player on a certain platform, but and then as soon as you turn crossplay off, it's like you've got a very, I guess, non-calibrated rank compared to the open rank. So we didn't want to split the player base too much, I guess is how I'd answer that. And have a universal ranking system for everybody.
A lot of comments about aim assist changes, anything we're doing in the future. You've mentioned before that, keep the feedback coming on aim assist adjustments and whatnot. Is there any changes to that?
So
that we're in the future?
we're always open to tweaking it. I guess what I'd say is, as of right now, I think it's in a pretty good place. And it's an ever, ongoing debate of course, but I do feel like I hear an equal number of comments on the internet saying aim assist is too strong versus aim assist is not strong enough against PC. So I feel like I'm kind of hearing 50-50, which means I think we're in a relatively good spot. The other thing I'd say is when you look at all of the pro players, I think Akuvo, you maybe did the math, but there were 17 new pros, of which how many were on controller?
8 of them were on controller of the 17.
So 8 out of 17 pro players that started playing the game this year are on controller, and that's, to me, that's a sign that we're in a pretty good place, at least at a competitive level where it's viable, but it's not OP. And I mean, I guess the last thing I'd say is if you look at the last pro league tournament, the team that won all mouse and keyboard, the team that got second place, I believe, was all controller or half controller.
3 controller, I think.
3 controller, yeah. So that to me says we're in a pretty good spot if the top 2 teams, one team was all mouse, which got first place, and the team that got second had 3 controller players.
Interesting thing in the comments right now, I'm seeing a relatively balanced opinions between it being OP, it being just right, it being too weak. It seems to reflect what you're saying in the chat.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tricky one though, right? I mean, there's always going to be, no matter what we do, there's going to be circumstances where it's slightly too powerful or slightly not powerful enough for specific players. There's always going to be circumstances where you're better off on a mouse, and there's always going to be circumstances where you're better off on a controller, right? There's just, no matter what you do, one will be better slightly in certain situations. So I think the best we can do is try to make it 50-50 in terms of general feel. Is it too good or too weak?
Have we put any thought into a big team battle mode or a multi-team mode?
Have we put thought into it? I mean, we've discussed it. I think multi-team is more realistic in the near future. Big team battle in order to get it right would be a massive undertaking, and I think our focus right now is let's take what we've got, this incredible foundation, and let's improve upon it and add to it. But we're growing fast, right? We've gone from a very small team to now about 50 people in the last 6 months. So if we can keep up this growth, it's going to allow us to do more crazy big ideas like a big team battle.
Any plans for clan tags or just a clan system in general?
Yeah, maybe. I think I think back to the Halo 2 days for me. I was in a clan. I loved doing all of that stuff. And obviously a lot of games have evolved beyond that in recent years. So we could see it at some point.
Is there going to be any Splitgate esports and esports skins?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got our Splitgate Pro Series, and I think we've announced we're continuing that this year. I don't know, when's our first tournament, Eric? Is it in a week or two?
I don't think that's announced yet, but I'm sure
Okay.
it will be.
Well, it's relatively
enough.
soon. But
We
yeah,
have announced
we've
it is
definitely
happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So anyway, yeah, so we definitely esports is going to be a big part of the game plan. And we've got both our pro series as well as we'll have, the challenger series where non-pros can compete for an opportunity to become a pro, which I think is pretty exciting. Yeah.
Any thoughts on level/progression past level 1000? Someone suggested we should increase the cap to 1047 levels.
I saw that. I was like, let's do that. I'm down for that.
Just 47 more levels.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I'd like to do, I mean, actually, genuinely, I think we should up it to 1047 because that'd be sick. But, I feel like we should do some sort of prestige or something. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but yeah, definitely we want to allow you to obviously keep grinding, right? So we'll see what it turns into. Is anybody at 1,000 yet?
Cows was the one who said that asked that question most recently. He hit it yesterday, level 1000.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's crazy.
Questions about the item shop and how you buy items and there's no confirmation. Are we gonna add like a confirmation button? I know that's been a pain point for
So
some people.
we're redoing the entire shop. So it's not just, but yes, we will keep that in mind as we are redoing it. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of the UI for the shop, or actually, really, I'm not a fan of the UI in general. I think it's one of our weak points that we can improve a lot.
Yeah, it's the chat's correcting us or making sure we know that I'm Corolla got level 1000 first before anybody else. Since we reset the XP levels. And speaking of resetting levels, what are we resetting when we do a new season? I think there's only one or two things, right?
I think we're resetting the soft resetting ranks, right? So you're not going to go from champion to, now you got to grind from platinum or gold, right? But we're doing a soft reset, so you have to do your placements again, but you'll start right or left of center based on how you did. What else are we resetting? I mean, we're resetting. You'll be level 1 in a new battle pass.
Season challenges. Because
Oh
they're
yeah,
going to be new.
season challenges. Yeah, new challenges and new seasonal rewards as well. I think that's everything, unless I'm forgetting something.
Once again, not a question, but more of a comment. Someone says this game has the best hit registration out there for any shooter. Agree?
I agree with that. Especially, I would say our carbine. I mean, I love that gun. That gun took a lot of iteration to get right.
All right, looking through these questions, guys. Let's see here. Do you got anything, Akuvo, that we haven't covered yet? Besides Battle Royale. I'm avoiding that question this time. We answer that every time.
There was a question about races. It was about simulation races, but I mean, I don't know if we have anything about races that we want to talk about
Yeah,
yet.
let's talk about races. So we've not done simulation races, but what we have done is we've added race difficulties. So we now have an easy race, medium race, and hard race for every single map, which I think is great because I think when you think about the purpose of races, it's really there's two purposes, right? One purpose is we want to teach you portals and portal routes on maps. And then also there's just the leaderboard side of it, right? You want to win the race if you're Toby. And and anyway, so we wanted to have easier versions of each race for people to learn. As a new player, you think about the races, it's impossible if you haven't done it before, if you don't know portals yet. So we've got easy races where that's super simple. It's got a few key portal routes to teach new users. And then we've got the medium races, which have a lot of portaling, but maybe less so on the triple portaling. And then we've got the hard races, which are, crazy, over the top. You guys have all seen Toby probably.
Race extraordinaire. Yeah, a couple feature questions. Are we gonna add a ping system at some point?
I don't know. We've talked about it. One of the problems is we're just running out of buttons, right? Like what button would do that on a controller? So I think that's part of it because we've got the EMP, we've got opening 2 portals, closing 2 portals, and then all the various gun related and movement related. So I think that would be one thing. But maybe you could do something where you hold down a button and it pings, or I don't know. I think my other concern with pinging systems is in a game with portals, you ping something, and by the time anyone even sees it, the person is not even remotely close to where you pinged. So, but we'll see. We might experiment with something.
Will we see more medals in the game? So, kill streaks and all the other type of cool things you can do. Will we get more medals?
Give me some ideas. What are you thinking, CyberWiz?
I've seen one suggestion where if you just get 3 headshots in a row with the sniper rifle, right? And it tells you
Yeah.
you get a sniper streak or some kind.
Right. Right.
Certain kind of weapons.
Yeah, I mean, any opportunity to have more medals for cool things that you can do seems like a good idea to me. We'll have to do it in the future, right? We'll have to re-record and come up with whatever we want to do. But it's not hard to add new medals. So
Will there be like different types of race modes added this season, like an easy, medium, hard setting?
yeah.
He was
That's
just
what
asking to clarify if that was a this season thing or a future season.
yeah, that's this season. So
Yeah.
a week from now, the 27th.
Cool.
That is cool. Seen a lot of repeat questions. I guess we can just go over the important stuff once again. So, yeah, people. I see a question about ranked season rewards. Let me show that on screen again. You see it on screen right now. Brass through champion. And to clarify, when you're progressing through your ranked challenges, it says like you're currently brass and you have to win 10 to get to the next level. Or does that mean you win that current tier that you're on, or do you have to get the 10 wins to get that tier? If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you have to get 10 wins at your rank yeah. So basically, I'm just going to give an example. If I'm a gold player, I have to win 10 wins to get the bronze reward. I then win, or brass reward. Then I get 10 wins to get the bronze reward, 10 wins to get the silver reward, 10 wins to get the gold reward. But I'm gold. So once I've hit all of those wins, in order for me to get the platinum reward, I have to get 10 wins at least a platinum rank. If I want to get the diamond reward, I got to get at least 10 wins at the diamond rank. So does that make sense?
I think so. Looking through the questions again. Have you considered making portals real and then selling them to me so I can use them in real life?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I would love to do that, but I'm not quite that smart. I can make it in a video game, but I don't know if I can do it in real life. We'll work on it.
Any new ideas for new guns?
Yes.
All right, fair enough.
Someone said more daily streak rewards, currently at 134. My message to you would be make sure you keep your streak alive going into the new season. Because maybe there will be something. No promises, but
yeah.
hopefully.
I will say on that note, the one thing we have been talking about is, because we have this daily check-in system and we have the daily play streak system. We've talked about a new system that you still will have your streak. But anyway, we've talked about redesigning how that all works and that flow to be more rewarding. So you're getting more items than just like, okay, I checked in, I got an XP boost. And then also reward people for, checking in regularly and not punishing them quite as much if it's like, oh, you joined in the middle of the week. So
what can we expect from this beta season 1 battle pass?
What can we expect? I mean, I'd say kind of a similar format to the season 0 battle pass where you've got characters, gun skins, jetpacks, bunch of sprays and name tags and drops and split coin and all the good stuff. It's a pretty similar balance. I'd say if anything, this battle pass is probably a little bit better, a little more generous than the previous one, but it's in the same kind of ballpark of what we give you.
Can you guys?
We also, I'll add to that, we have a new referral pass as well. Yeah, there are some new exclusive items that you can only get by referring new friends.
Can you guys please bring back CTF?
So I think you might have missed the beginning of this, but we've actually made a new variant of CTF called One Flag CTF. So that will be in the rotation going forward. And I think it's got all the fun of the old version of CTF, but it is much better balanced and more compelling and more interesting and just better overall. So
Getting some questions about a storyline, lore, any kind of backstory added to the game.
not yet, but it's something we are definitely thinking about and keeping in mind as we, as we build. We are starting to think about lore and kind of keep that in mind with how we design things. But nothing yet.
Have we thought about gifting items of any kind to other players?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool. Being able to gift people items or split coin. I think that'll maybe be a feature that comes when we redesign the store. Yeah.
All right, looking for questions again. Maybe we should mention the map creator one more time. What can you?
Yeah, why don't we just kind of summarize everything and
it,
maybe
yeah.
wrap up? But
Maybe
yeah,
show the
so
gift one more time for season rewards as well for the people who've missed that.
I showed it like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll post that on social media.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess to recap, so obviously the big news is beta season 1 is launching next week, next Thursday on January 27th. Big features for it. I mean, we've got a new battle pass. We've got 2 new game modes called Evolution and One Flag CTF. We're redoing our playlists so that we've got more stuff, more fan favorite modes like One in the Chamber available 24/7. We've got a new simulation map. We've overhauled Foregone Destruction, redone a little bit of the layout, but also truly this is kind of a small taste of the direction we're headed, just bringing this game to AAA status. And then the big feature for us is our map creator, where you can make maps with your friends and you can play on your custom maps with anybody. So lots of good stuff. And I'm super pumped. I mean, the team's been working really hard, and it's going to be awesome. So,
and we're definitely going to be laying it all out there in our patch notes, and you'll see exactly what you can't do on Map Creator. Also planning on having a list of key features that we're planning on making for the Map Creator in the future, but just didn't make it into V1.
Yep.
So expect that. All right. Yeah, new maps, guys. It's going to be great. Patch notes will be posted. We'll post it all over our social media channels and on our Splitgate.com website, of course. That's where it'll be.
cool.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody, and thanks Kevin for all the great questions. Or really, thanks community for the great questions.
Cool. And if you missed any part of this VOD, you can, of course, watch it here on Twitch. We'll also be posting it on our Splitgate Archive YouTube channel. We'll be posting about that later. And a highlighted quick version of this VOD will also be put on our main YouTube channel. So, yeah, should be covering all our bases there. Thanks, everybody. And, yeah, that's a wrap. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks everybody.